You.
Look for the two-headed Vic. Yeah. It's time for New Sports. Yeah, we got girls and sports bras and guys. That's right, with Jock Itch. Swinging left to right. Doing your sports. It's on. It's on.
Nobody takes swinging left to right to the interpretation.
It's Carmelo, they probably like it.
You're taking swinging left to right to a new mode.
I said, I'll tell you if they probably like it, it's Carmelo, though.
Yeah, okay. Well, hey, you guys. Hey, welcome to New Sports. I want to say something before we get into the NBA playoffs, because the one that dominates everything here is the NBA playoffs. I'm not knocking it in the hockey playoffs, but right now everybody looks at the upsets. I want to do a congratulations to after the Boston Marathon was run in a record time. Kenya's Jeffrey Mutai won the Boston Marathon in the fastest time in Boston history of the marathon race.
It's the beans.
2 hours, 3 minutes, 2 seconds. Fastest anyone's ever run the 26.2 mile distance in Boston. For various reasons, I think I know why they ran that fast.
Why? The beans, not the beans?
It's something else.
People were chasing them, talking about, don't live in our neighborhood.
That's okay.
They run you out in Boston.
Well, hey, look. Haile Gabrielasi actually was the former. I know that's a hard one, boy. When you get Gabrielasi, I'd love that. His name is off the chain. Just can I stay with it? Don't kill it. Former track record holder. And, of course, the Kenyans did their sweep as usual. So, it's their time. The times will change. It will go to another group. But 2 hours and 3 minutes is unbelievable. Congratulations to Ryan Hall, the only U.S. runner really to make it in the top 5. He came fourth with about 204 points and change. Did very good. Watch Ryan Hall through his high school, his evolution. He is the cat to watch. And I'm saying this with no joke. I'm talking about he is coming real hard. Got to give congrats out to that. But it's that time, Mario. We talk about sports. And, youth served up its notice. It said first round upsets, we're bringing them. Now, Mario, I'm not going to get into anything has not been covered already. We know what's up. Spurs, Lakers lost first round. Now, I'm not tripping off of that, and I'm not sweating it, because I do believe this. You can be good in the regular season, and you can be even better close to the playoffs. But when the playoffs come, everything is an equalizer. And the one thing that I saw that took place, bar none, when I watched the Celtics, the Spurs, and the Lakers, I saw speed and youth as they lifted themselves up as it relates to these teams who are senior and more experienced. And I actually said, okay, at the end of the day, there's going to be a problem if they don't have what they call the clutch player on the team. All the clutch players who are required to do their job, Magic's Dwight Howard, Kobe, Rose, everybody who did their job. What happened to the Spurs and the Lakers, man? What happened as it relates? Who didn't deliver?
Well,
Come on,
I'm not going to point fingers.
Why not?
You want me to point fingers?
I want you to take an assessment, take responsibility. Okay, let's start with the Spurs first. Spurs are minus Manu Ginobili. I can easily say it's not fair because he's like your number 2 player. He is the Kobe Bryant of their team.
Oh, it's not. It's always fair.
Well, okay. Well, I'm just saying that. So here it is. Before we do this, because I'm going to get into which top NBA playoff team will be upset in the first round. There's a likelihood this can happen. We're going to get into that. Before I do that, I want to know, with the Spurs, was it a minus Manu Ginobili? No other excuses?
No, it wasn't.
Okay, well.
That. No, they needed a lot more than that. They needed more consistent people to step up.
Right.
And do it and hustle. They needed better defense.
So the defense was lacking. Okay, so the number one thing you said, because offensively they clearly could get their shots off. They shot terribly in the first half. San Antonio did real bad. It's one of those things where we shot so bad, we're 30-something% in the first half, and we're still only down by a couple of points, meaning good news in the second half. They make their second half run. They actually take the lead. What happened to make it all go away? And I'm going to tell you the person I think who stepped up, who matched not only the energy and the impact, and his name is Gasol, and he's not on the Lakers.
Gasol really was excellent. In terms of hustle, running up and down the court. scoring offensively.
Right.
But Vic, I wanted to go back and review the numbers. That's what I was looking at.
Right.
For San Antonio.
Yeah.
Duncan had 13.
He is fine.
Parker had 5.
Yeah, their distribution of points, I saw that already. I said the distribution of points was there. They had it equally distributed among top 5, the 6, and some of the bench. But Memphis did something that I thought was real evident. And I'm going to say this. I think Gasol controlled the impact of the lower court underneath the rim. What he was doing to me set the tone for them. Wasn't expecting him to do that. So to me, even with Timmy got his points here and there, Parker the best man to go what I call a layup to the rim. I call laying it up to the rim. He always gets there. But they were blocking shots. Here's the part that I'm saying. Usually Tony Parker doesn't get a shot blocked at all. He's very clean to the basket. They were swarming him. They were taking him a little bit away from that basket, which leaves your three-pointers and Timmy. And I think the part that Tim can't do, he can't compete against a bigger guy, younger, fresh legs, and hustling and scrambling.
Well, their offense doesn't really require that. Okay, right. That's not what was supposed to happen. But just looking at some of the numbers, Gasol 9 out of 10 from the floor.
Right,
that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: Tony Parker was a 4 of 16 from the floor, even though he made 12 of 16 free throws.
Right.
So anyway, the point is that it's not really supposed to have to come down to Tim Duncan carrying the team.
Who's the center of the
center?
Yeah, the center. I'm gonna say this: Tim Duncan in their championships was the center force down below. That is not the case anymore.
No, but even still, their team is still a different kind of a team, more of a
3 points.
That's right. So they needed Manu.
Okay,
so there you go.
Okay, now let me go, and then let's do this then. All right, now we understand that. Lakers, very easy to determine. Kobe gets his 30-something. The Hornets outplay not only the bench against bench. Chris Paul gets his number surprisingly. This is one of those games where you turn around and say the Hornets only have 3 turnovers all game. That's unbelievable. That's like a record. Matter of fact, I think it's an all-time record or ties the all-time record for NBA playoff first round. So here it is. Who didn't deliver? And I'm going to say this right offhand. I got 2 choices who didn't deliver, and the names deal with rebounds and points, not just points. I call it Odom and Gasol. Who do you think didn't deliver from the Lakers? That's my.
I don't know who didn't deliver. I was just trying to look for the rebounding stats. I know I saw this. That the Lakers actually had more offensive rebounds.
They did.
But total rebounds and higher total rebounds.
Right. But Gasol 9 points and about 6 rebounds. Lamar Odom 13 points, a few rebounds. So how do you make up for a team that says, here's Kobe? So after Gasol, Bynum, probably 2 points under what expected. He got about 8-9 rebounds, I believe, and got 13 points. Coming off an injury, he did better than Gasol and Odom if you look at the totality of what he did. So I'm saying the Lakers lost on the big men. The big men, and here's the other part when I'm saying, West from the Hornets wasn't in the game, which is their center force.
Right.
So did youth get served up here, man?
Youth is getting served everywhere, Vic.
Okay, all right. So now, here's your...
That's what we've been saying and warning everybody about all year long.
Here it is, Mario. Orlando, Chicago, Miami, L.A., Boston, San Antonio, Oklahoma Thunder. Who do you think is the most likely or more susceptible to losing the first-round playoff series?
Well, it's not Chicago.
All these games were close, too, just so you know. All the games were close.
The Denver-Oklahoma game was really something else.
It was absolutely wonderful.
I think, who's the most?
Most likely. And I'm going to say this with Denver, it proved the point that somebody said. When you don't have a clutch player at the end of the game, it shows itself, and that's what they need. Oklahoma had Durant and Westbrook. You don't know who your go-to guy is on Denver. They play well up and down, the best bench. But when it comes to the clutch, they didn't have anybody. But who are you picking? Memphis? Now, Memphis is very confident as it relates to San Antonio. Very confident. Even with Manu, they're very confident. Who stands a better chance? Orlando's already down 1 against the Atlanta Hawks. But I don't know if that's ringing the bell down the hallway the way we're seeing the other teams lose.
I think it is Memphis.
You think it's Memphis over San Antonio?
Yeah, I think that's the one upset. I think the Lakers are going to struggle but manage to get by against New Orleans. I don't think they can maintain, but I think Boston will ultimately prevail over New York.
Okay.
But the next one, I was wondering, man, that Oklahoma game really made you question certain things. But I tell you what, I just think that let's play this. Either one of those teams is going to bring some action. Either one of them is going to bring some real challenge to the next round.
Right. I actually...
The West is looking more challenging and competitive.
That's right.
Because of Denver and Oklahoma.
Well, and look at the games. Indiana had Chicago reeling to the last minute, less than a minute, before they pulled theirs out. So really, Indiana looked like we don't fear. But Danny Granger is the only name they have in that camp. So to pull that off, Chicago got their scare. What I noticed in this whole series right now, all the teams that are favored did not play to the expectation level of how they should dominate. Matter of fact, everybody clearly found themselves having to say it was an even game after the first half, going to the third quarter. Miami showed me the better defense. And the team I thought that definitely threw it away, New York Knicks, had a carte blanche. That was a Boston loss. They got saved on that one. And that comes down to a matter of making a smart play. So we'll look at that and say right now there's nobody who's really overachieving. There are some upsets, and I agree with you. I'm leery of the San Antonio Spurs series.
Well, I tell you, it's interesting. All the games that were on Saturday, Miami and Philly, Orlando, Atlanta, both of those just don't seem that interesting, and you just sort of expect it to be kind of they don't seem that interesting.
Well, it's a foregone conclusion. So what?
Well, Dallas versus Portland isn't. But it just doesn't seem that exciting, I guess, for some reason, because we don't expect much from either one of them in the playoffs.
That's right. And I think that may lend to some of the reasons why we say, well, how exciting are the first rounds? Well,
not those games. Not the Saturday games.
No. Even Charles Barkley had a bad one on this one. He says the New York Knicks doesn't have a chance. And I said, well, it looked like they were having a great game.
I think they have a chance. Again, I expected them to show well. And you know what? And Van Gundy, some other people pointed out, when you have Amari Stoudemire,
right,
Carmelo Anthony,
right,
Chauncey Billups,
yeah,
already, you guys, come on now.
Well, and here's the other part.
You're going to make a reasonable presentation of a game, of a team,
right?
Just saying those three,
right? And remember, Chauncey probably could have changed the landscape of the game if he wasn't injured right at the last few moments,
right?
And when he got pulled out, the leadership on the floor got lost in turnovers. They had back-to-back turnovers, and I said, you just gave Boston the game. So all you had to do is hold. They had the last shot. They had the lead 1 point, 22 seconds to go. They had the ball. They turned it over. You had control of clock. You had the last shot. You can go up 3 points or even 4. You didn't. So this is one of those decision-making
Carmelo
things.
Missed some important shots, too.
Yes, he did. He did.
Stretch.
Yeah, turnovers kill you. The missed shots, I said take the shots, but don't turn the ball over. All right, here's another thing. We covered this a little bit briefly in this next question here. I said, which NBA players did not play to expectations in the first round games? I went through the list as we were talking about already, Mario, but I pulled out these names to say, okay, which one did you look for a better game as it relates to these names? And I listed forward Hedo Turkoglu, 6 points in a Magic loss. Next, center Antonio McDyess, 3 points, Spurs loss. He's considered the center. Tim Duncan is the power forward. You have to look at his numbers. 3 points, I think, and 1 rebound. That's terrible. All right. Guard, Chauncey Billups, 10 points, Knicks loss. I say that